LC. I think we are live and in person. We're 2 minutes early because that's the way we roll. We roll early.
What are you doing? You got two channels going?
I do, man. I gotta get that sweet monetization on both. You know what I'm saying?
And you don't even stop.
What's that?
You don't stop, man. Where do you find the time to do that?
What's Hey, Coco.
Especially with those dogs giving you a hard time, man.
There you go. Thanks, bro. All right. Well,
hey, wait. You got a YouTube. What's that pillow back there? You got a YouTube pillow?
Subscribe? Yeah, dude.
Oh, man. I quit. I got nothing from them. I can never get anything.
I paid for that. I didn't get anything from them.
Oh, okay.
Well, I paid for that. That's just marketing. You know what I'm saying?
You're supposed to get stuff, though. Like when you get to 50,000, 100,000, they're supposed to send you stuff. They never send me nothing.
Well, at 50,000, you didn't?
I got nothing. I even checked my address, made sure it was right. I'm like, oh, man.
Well,
only thing they do is
silver thing pretty soon because you're sitting at hold on a second. You're sitting at like 97,000 subscribers or something like that, right?
I know. Yeah. I'm going to write a strongly worded email if I don't get something. You know,
Susan Wiki. Say Susan Wiki. No, I had to start my second channel because I got a ding on I got my first ding. I was like, what the hell? Because I was talking about masks because I hate them. Or what? And I said, you're using medical misinformation. And I was like, okay, whatever. And who knows what else? So I said, so what I started doing is all my older videos, I just started uploading to my other channel, which was the one I did first, to be perfectly honest with you. But I just hadn't posted anything for it. So just in case they delete everything, I mean, who knows? You never know what anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's nuts.
Mine is on the show that we do, the 5 o'clock show. Mine is if I mention pot stocks.
Really?
Yep. So I started calling them goofy stocks, and everybody knows if you want to ask a question about it, don't type the name of it. Don't just call them goofy stocks. I'm happy to talk about them. Otherwise, they come after you.
If you say pot stocks, YouTube will come after you.
Yep. Or I won't do it here, but if you say the names of those companies, if you use any of the clinical terms for that, then they'll demonetize it, and you get a little ding.
Yeah. Oh, that's nuts.
Can't do it.
Did you know that before that?
Do what?
Did you know? I mean, did they just one day they said you can't do that? We're going to ding you, or did you know that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, what started it was so in that studio over there, that's a bar, so there's alcohol bottles on there, and it picked it up. And I thought, all right, they don't like you showing alcohol on the videos, so I was like, all right, I won't do any videos there. And then I started realizing it's a little bit of everything where they come after you.
So it's the AI, dude. The AI literally says what's on your wall, and they say, "Oh, you're marketing illicit products, I suppose."
It was solicitation or display of alcohol or tobacco products. Yep, that's it. Just to get you fired up early in the show here,
man. Well, if I was a drinking man, I'd be banished a long time. I don't drink, but I mean, if I did, I'd have my pints of Guinness sitting right here, and I'd be doing freaking black and tans all day long. Basket on the bottom, Guinness on top, Dustin. I'd be drinking those like a drunken crazy man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you wouldn't be making money on YouTube then. That's how they feel.
That's crazy. There's a guy, a YouTube guy named Flossie Carter, and he does videos like he reviews stuff. Funniest guy. Dude's just funny. Anyway. He has this cat. He's a big black guy, like tapped up. He's like big. He's like a big. You're like, man, that guy would smoke everybody times 10. He's got the cutest little cat called White Shoes. It's the funniest. It's like the and anyway, he was doing this video where he was doing he's like testing some kind of alcohol. He was literally getting drunk while it was the funniest thing, man, because you could start hearing his voice slur. It might be a couple years ago. I was showing a couple of my daughters, and we're just laughing our asses off because it's like you have this cat, White Shoes, the cutest cat ever. This big guy, roar, and just oh my god, he's just getting drunk, and White Shoes is taking over. It's the funniest thing ever, man.
Biggest guys are the biggest teddy bears, right?
Oh my goodness, for real. Speaking of, oh boy, that's all right, Chloe. Well. Everyone knows when they come to this channel, they're going to get a taste. Oh, he's wet. Taste of Pablo and a taste of Finney. All right, my friends. Well, I appreciate y'all being here. Looks like we got a pretty good crowd starting off. So mucho gracias. And just watching the clown show here, i.e. the dogs. Dustin has joined us. This is freaking fantastic. So Dustin, show everybody your pants there, your knees. If you want.
They're a mess, man.
Yeah, look at that. Work. Dustin's been laying tile. So if you all follow, I'm sure you all do, but Jazz Wealth YouTube channel, definitely follow his channel. If you're not, it's I can almost assure you the vast majority you are. Dustin just posted a video where he's taken over a house and he's put it together stick by or freaking a tile by tile, all sweat equity, that's for sure. So
doing man stuff, man.
Doing man stuff, right? As I'm sitting there and I'm playing with my dogs, Dustin's out there digging ditches. You know what I'm saying? So Dustin, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
What's going on in the great state of Florida, man?
Well, first of all, what do you think about? Are you a football guy?
I'm going for the Bucks, brother. Touchdown, Tommy.
All right. Okay. Cool.
We have a little bit playing tomorrow down your neck of the woods.
Yeah. We got a bet going here to see a score, a little bit of an in-office game going on. I think I took a shot. I took the long shot. I'm going 24-10 Bucks. I'm gonna say it's a boring game.
I'm going 32-20 Chiefs.
Okay.
And that's going to be the mantle being handed over, or the whatever it is, a cup. From the GOAT to the usurper, and the usurper will then be the next iteration of the GOAT.
Well, I'll be happy when it's over because this town is it's Super Bowl town at the moment. I mean,
so is it nuts down there?
Yes, people everywhere. Yep.
Man.
Everywhere.
So, like, are people down there all masked up or what? You know, or is it a little bit of, I mean, what?
Yeah. People are good at that. Like in any areas like that, they're pretty good about it. The bars get a little loose, and so they went around and they actually would record which bars were, being a little loose with the rules, and then they put them on TV to kind of shame them and stuff. And so they all went back to that. That was kind of unfortunate, but it was. Other than that, yeah, it's freaking Super Bowl town, red mass, Bucks swash, all over it. It's crazy. I'm more excited about the Bombers. I'm going to the top of Tampa Airport tomorrow. Got my Cheesecake Factory being delivered to the top of Tampa Airport on the garage, and I'm going to sit because the stadium's right across the runway, and they have 3 Bombers, B-2 Bombers flying. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Now, when is it going to be a full crowd in the stadium or no?
I think it's a little bit limited. Yeah, there'll probably be a lot outside and stuff. There's all kinds of stuff going on around the place. From the like celebrity golf tournaments and stuff. It's incredible.
So Florida Flash says he or she enjoyed your YouTube channel about your tile job. They just installed 4,000 square foot. How much did you all pay Florida Flash? Because Dustin's number was 13,000. It turns out. So let's see what that was. And you had what, 6 quotes on that? All right. So on the stadium, it'll be. Is it all Tampa fans or Chiefs fans? I mean, because I know it's a hometown game. You know what I'm saying?
You can buy the side, so you can buy tickets for one side or the other. But
this is the first time like the home team has actually played in their home stadium. That's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy, Dustin, we couldn't figure out how to do Dustin's channel to stream it on the same time. Jimmy, so we were having a hard time with that. So that's
his stuff's too fancy, man. Josh got the fancy stuff. I just wing it.
Yeah, I got the fancy stuff. So here's what my version of Dustin's electric. You know what I'm saying? That's the fancy stuff. But anyway, just my man Alberto said he worked on B2s back in the day and then someone said it's a third there'll be a third there, man, a third in the Super Bowl. All right, is the Bucks your team? I mean, you're a native down that way, right?
Yeah, but I grew up with Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. I'm Cowboys, man. Through thick and thin, Cowboys fan. That's it.
Well, I just I tell you, man, being from Maine, the Pats. And I'm 50. How old are you, Dustin?
My daughter just told me I'm 38.
All right, so I'm a little bit old news. So when I was growing up, the Pats in the 70s, they were always pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Then they had a horrible early 80s, and then they went to the Super Bowl against the Bears, and they got smoked 46-10. And then obviously in the aughts, they were just insane. But just the Pats. But I mean, now the whole franchise is over. It's over. Now we've had a good run. Boston teams have had a good run for the year from 2000 to 2020. The Bruins, the Pats, the Celtics, and then I don't care about basketball, but then the The Red Sox is nuts, man. It's been a good. Well, hell, freaking the Lightning. Oh, God. I forgot about that. I hate the Lightning, man. Ugh.
We're trying to go for all of them, man. We got to get the Bucks tomorrow, and then we'll have it done, man. We got all the major teams.
We drove down there a couple years ago to see the Bruins play the Lightning, and it's just that's a fan. I loved it. It's fantastic. That's what I told my wife. I said, man, if it didn't get so doggone hot in there, I can handle Tampa. That's for sure. Are you seeing crazy real estate market? What's the real estate happening down there? Is it just going nuts with people moving from these crazy places or what?
Yep. There's a lot of definitely an obvious migration of people from up north down here. You can see it. I mean, just the cars, New York tags everywhere. Not so much California. We get the New York, New Jersey crowd. Yeah. That's visibly. Normally, you see, Canada. That's what we see this time of year is Canada. They come down, but no, it's a lot of New York, New Jersey. So
I think what you see down there, like driving up prices and stuff, or they just obviously get in the way, but they're moving down there too, right?
Yep. Actually, the neighbor next to the house that we just bought and the house next to it, both of them are from New York. And
really?
Yep. That's
getting the hell out of Dodge, man. Can't blame them. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, go where they you can keep your money right. That's it. It's too much, man. You can't hang in New York. I mean, why pay that? I don't understand. I love New York, but no.
I had a client the other day, and I did a video on it. I said, man, they're paying like $14,000 a year property tax. And I was like, freaking, nothing fancy house on I think Long Island or something like that. I said, the minute you go down to, I think they're moving to North Carolina or something like this. The minute you go down there, it's going to be like $3,500 for a bigger house. I mean, that's going to make or break your retirement right there. Never mind all the other crap that goes on in New York. It's nuts, man.
You would know that's so California, first of all, like compared to New York, not that bad. Everybody complains California and the tax is actually not too bad. But inside of Right Capital, if someone doesn't set their state, it defaults to New York. So that's the number one thing that people are like, I don't understand where all this taxes are coming from. And I'm like, well, let's go check where you put the state at. Yeah. Always, every time.
Yeah, no, it's nuts, man. I do know that. Absolutely. It's funny. I don't know. I try to set it where it shows up in Georgia. I don't know if it does or not, but I think that is and another thing, Right Capital, I don't like, because Dustin used Right Capital too. He calls it nest egg. Is I was just dealing with a guy today. Something on Right. They're updating. Right Capital is freaking awesome. I love it. They're updating like all the time. It's nuts how much these guys are updating. There was one other thing I forgot off the top of my head. I was like, I can't believe they don't fix that. It was I forgot now. But anyway, was another thing. They have this prorated thing. So if you go on tax distribution and you say it'll give you can do this and you have this much more money than if you did a prorated distribution amount. That's stupid. No one does prorated distributions where you're taking a third. That I don't even know why they put that in. But that wasn't. I forgot what the other thing was. But anyway, all right. So what I was hoping to do is, so folks, when I first started my YouTube channel or started thinking about it, I was writing my book. Strategic, right here. Hold on a second. Sorry. I was writing this guy right here, and I was planning. I was writing the chapter, and one of the chapters I did is that you can borrow from your 401k, and I started looking at it's counterintuitive in the YouTube, or not the YouTube, but in the financial advisory world to say it's okay to borrow from your 401k. Everyone wants to throw arrows at you. It's stupid. But anyway, long story short, I started looking on YouTube, and this is probably middle of 2017. And the only guy who had a video, 2018, I can't remember. It was 2017. Only guy who had any kind of video that said it's okay was Dustin. That's it. Everybody else was saying, don't do it. You're stupid. You idiot. You fool. And Dustin's like, well, here's the reasons it would be okay. And I said, hallelujah. My goodness, it's okay in the right circumstances. We don't want you doing it to go see the friggin', bet on Tom Brady. But at the end of the day, I was like, man, so I reached out to Dustin. I don't even think I have my channel going. I can't remember, but I don't recall. Dustin was gracious as could be. He said, this is what I'm doing. I think, Dustin, at that point, you might have had 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? You had been going for about a year or so, if even that. And it was just, the dude was awesome. And then I interviewed him for my podcast, which I don't do anymore. I just do everything on video now. I just like it, and which is good. And that was in May of 2018. And then I went down there about a year and a half ago, I guess now, Dustin. And we did a meeting when I was sitting in that office right there, man. It's fun.
Yep.
And so Dustin's been a big influence on me, frankly, and it's been fantastic. It's just neat seeing how his channel has just freaking grown to almost 100,000 subscribers, and presumably, Dustin, when you get that, Susie Wiki will give you that YouTube silver record. I don't even know what the hell it is. You know what I'm saying?
It's something, a card, you know, a little thank you, attaboy, something like that. I don't know.
You've made us a boatload of money, Dustin. Please keep it up. You know what I'm saying? Because we know you ain't making money for the big guy at Google. So any bit that we're helping them make, you know, they should be, thank you, Dustin. Keep making us the scratch.
Saying, you know, it's the least they could do. I got nothing. I mean, not even like a thing on your channel that says congratulations. I'm a little salty about it, but you know, we'll work it out. But hey, you post more videos than I do, man. I see like now you like popping up all the time. I know when you click on something, you see more of it, but man, you go to town on them videos.
It's dude, it's, you know, it's funny. Literally before we got on this, I was watching an old metal band I used to follow quite a bit when I was in the 90s, and they, you know, they've kind of gone their separate ways, but a lot of the individuals who are my age, you know, 50s, have gone on to do other metal bands. And I said, it's like, once you get the muscle or the habit or the addiction, I guess, frankly, it's cathartic. You know what I'm saying? That's just Chuck. I said, these guys are looking at playing heavy metal music the same way I look at doing YouTube videos. It's just as cathartic. You know, I mean, you get a chance to get up and say what the hell you want to say. You got to be careful because you want Susie Wiki to ban you. But at the end of the day, it's just, for me, I love it. I have no other way around. You know, I used to I used to do blogs. I just, after doing videos, Dustin, compared to actually sitting there writing, I hate doing that, man.
Yep.
It's painful. And you do a weekly letter to your customers. I mean, how long does that take to do all that? I mean, that's I don't know if I could do that, man.
Well, I just started 2 weeks ago dictating the letter. So then you can kind of, it's real, like you're talking yourself. You're not, you know, typing words you wouldn't normally say.
Right.
And it was a disaster because, you know, instead of shares, it would be share, like the singer.
Oh,
just everything. I think I said somebody's name and it came out as Stalin instead of their name. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I want to try it, but I enjoy it. For me, it's a Friday night thing that I just kind of go through and I'm like, what do I want to tell people that happened? How do I show them I did some work this week? You know, and so that, for me, that's what that is. But it's been a disaster, to be honest. I'm experimenting with, on this side of the camera, what if you could respond to an email with a video, just like this? Like, instead of typing, what if I could just hit one button? We're trying to develop it where inside the email, I press a button and I'm like, hey, you were asking about the loan from your 401k. Here's why it's a good deal. Share the screen. Bam, it's done and sends right away. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Dude, it not only be cool, I guarantee the customers and clients would like it because it's real. You know, oh man, that would be. What's the progress? Are we getting someplace with that, or what?
I would say 90% there. What happens sometimes is we'll send it and it won't display. There's a little. Okay. You have to account for every single email provider out there. So we're going through one by one to fix it. Yahoo's a pain and Gmail's very easy to use, but we're just trying to think of ways to, how do you keep a personal relationship at scale? Because nobody says you can do that. And I'm like, well, if we could build anything we want, then let's build that way to do it and make it efficient at the same time. So
it's easier. I mean, literally sitting, because I mean, I love. Yeah, I get, and this is going to sound arrogant on me too, but you know, my emails are beginning to pile up, starting to become where I'm like, ugh, which is great because it means that people are seeking out my opinions on stuff. But it's a challenge. There's no other way around that. And as it becomes more and more a challenge, it's got to be a way. And frankly, it hurts me when people write me. Like I had a lady the other day, and nice lady, she wrote me a 3-pager and very nice, and I just emailed her back and said, I can't read this. I just can't. And I felt bad, but I mean, that was her whole life in her email to me. And I can't. But the emails are taking more and more of my time. And it'd be just to have some kind of methodology. I don't know what it would be, but do you get on your inbox? I mean, you get inundated with emails every day. And customers is one thing. Customers, that's different because they're paying you. If I get a customer email, that's always top priority to me. I get on that like white on rice. But I do get a lot of emails for questions on, hey, what do you think here? And some of them are pretty lengthy, and I simply can't respond. Are you at that? I mean, you getting that too, kind of?
If I do, usually I'll send it on to my brother or my mother. So you know how we do things here, but I don't get a lot of those because I'm pretty clear. Like as we're doing the shows and stuff, I can't legally help you individually. So a lot of times I'll just say like, although I can't give you a specific answer, you might want to look here. I'll try to get them somewhere, but
right. I got you. Right on.
No, not too much.
All right. No, that's well, obviously you're setting the expectations and I'm not doing that well enough. And the thing is, I don't mind emails because I put them in a side folder and I've been doing these videos where I just answer them one by one, these live streams. Like last night I did one where I just answer them one by one. Obviously not, Dustin, you should do this and that. It's not like I don't know who these people are, you know what I'm saying? But, within the context of, hey, what do you think about Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning? I'll say, well, Peyton Manning sucks. Tom Brady's the medical man. You know what I'm saying? That's not debatable, right? And my goodness. All right. So when you said your brother's working with you now?
Yeah, there's 6 of us here. Actually,
six TIbbits?
Well, not all TIbbits, but they are all family. Yeah. So Cody, my brother, he's here, and Charlie, who's my brother-in-law, he's the one that builds anything. He's the software guy. So like all our client back end and stuff, all their front end, everything that they see. Now we don't use Folio as much. We have our own portal, shows balance, has all this great stuff. He makes that. So he's been a lifesaver because if we get an email now instead of just seeing the name and hopefully remembering it, now I see everything about the person. I see the comments that we've had, plans that we've done, and it's all just pulled, from their email. So it's big help.
So Charlie's your brother. Is that your wife's brother?
It's my wife's sister's husband. He's our resident nerd.
Starling gave us a $5 super chat. Starling, if you got a question, let us know. We'll put you to the top here for sure. Much obliged.
Oh, Starling. Starling's a good barometer on imports and exports.
Yes, right on. Yeah, I don't care what.
I got a good memory.
Yeah, Starling's a Navy guy. We won't hold that against him, Dustin. All right, so then your brother is working with it, kind of like doing some back end email, advising. Does he ever get on camera?
We did. Yeah, we've done a little bit of that.
Right there?
He's not here at the moment.
Okay.
I'm looking at his desk, but he's getting better at that. He likes really helping that beginner person.
Yeah,
that's kind of his focus. And then a lot of the stuff, the actual data and graphs and things I share, he puts all that together for me. I come up with some crazy idea in the morning, and then he puts it all together and saves me a lot of time. So,
are you paying these guys?
Yeah, everybody gets paid. I'd say they're happy. Cody's even getting paid to lay tile. So everybody's picking on me for not paying Cody. He's getting paid for the tile, man.
Oh man, Cody, that's funny. Right on. Man, I got to get my maybe one of these days. I'm trying. Does your wife ever show up on the tube?
Yeah, here and there, I would say. Not recently though. She's a little busy. The house and everything.
What's her line of work?
She actually just stopped working for a while. She's a nephrology. That's her thing. The kidneys, nephrologist. So kidney doctor, like that's all I know. To be honest, if you have a kidney problem, dialysis, kidney stone, things like that, that's the place you go to. And she
gotcha.
Yeah.
How about your daughter? She gonna get involved in the family biz?
She just asked me over the weekend. So her and her boyfriend are trying to learn more about the markets, and she's like, "Would you please teach us?" And I treat him like crap. I really do. I'm not nice to him, and you got to earn it, right?
Man,
you got to earn it. I'm telling you that. Maybe I'm wrong. That's how I came through the same thing. I mean, I'm not giving you credit right away. I don't give trophies to everybody.
TIbbits?
Yeah, I don't do that. But they want to learn about the market, so I thought. Yeah, I'm happy to help, but you guys got to do some of the research. I need to know you have an interest. So we may make that some videos because she had really good questions. It would be neat to do that.
The hell yeah. Get her on the tube and him too. Now with him, you got to make sure he takes a step back. You're like, dude, you're getting in my territory there, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So pipe down.
One of the funny things with him is my wife went out of town. She goes, invite him over have some dinner, like make a night of it. And I'm like, all right, I'll do that for you. So I'm like, what do you do? What's your thing, man? Like, what do you want to do in this world? And
I'm sure you asked it very just, what's your thing, man?
no, I'm not like, I come across a little odd sometimes, but he's like, well, trying to learn some different things. He's like, I like the arts and like juggling and things. I'm like, all right, you juggle, huh? And so I'm like, go ahead, juggle something for me. So we started giving him stuff. He was juggling. I'm like, not bad. So I lit a tennis ball on fire with vodka on it and threw it at him. I'm like, juggle. And I got that on film. I actually posted that. And he juggled it. Yeah. He juggled it once, then dropped it or something. I'm like, yeah, some juggler you are. It didn't go well.
Get the hell out of here, punk. He's a fraud, man. You're a fraud, kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Give me something real. What else you got? But he's coming around. I like the kid, but I don't give people an easy pass. So.
The funny thing is, man, the problem with so I've had both my wife has said you should get I have 4 kids and my oldest 2 are girls. You should get Maddie and Chloe to help you. I say yeah, and then when they say yeah, okay, did you do the job I needed you to do? Yeah, no, you didn't do the job I needed you to do. Well, can you still pay me anyway? No. That's the problem. So I'm like, it's not like that. I'm just saying that's the one thing about getting your kids involved. It's like, man, this still got to get done. And I don't care if you're my child or not. The facts are this still got to get done, and you better be pulling your weight, or else or else she'll be out in the street there. In fact, right now we're getting a little bit of snow, believe it or not, here in North Georgia. And
man,
you'll be living out there. It's actually a little bit more rain than snow, but that's are you paying these guys? So is the Jazzwell firm has like 6 employees,
legitimate employees. I even buy them health insurance, man.
Do you?
Well, I mean, it made sense at that point, and everybody needed it. So Charlie's a little bit older. I think he's like 27 now, and they're having a baby. So I'm like, all right, how do I steal you from? He's like cybersecurity developer guy. Okay. So I'm like, how do I steal you? Yeah. I'm not going to pay you $300,000 a year. So we worked out a deal with insurance and stuff. So yeah, full time. They're here every day. Cody works harder than all of us, and that's pretty much it. I told Cody's trying to do a Series 65, so he's been studying that. And I said, well, you get one shot. You pass it, you're in. If you don't, you're fired. So he's really studying. No so yeah, no pressure. He's got. I mean, if I turn the camera, you would see no short of 400 note cards just spread out over his thing. He's going for it. Well,
Berto says, Dustin, he wishes you the best. He says 100 million of assets under management with 4,000 clients is extraordinary. Congratulations. That's you got a lot of kudos on here, man. So good stuff. So how's the business in terms of, so you started, Dustin, 2000. When did you start Jazzwell? You're an RIA, the Registered Investment Advisory Firm.
I started in 2016, and it took me like the first 4 months to fill out all that regulatory paperwork and stuff, because I was dead set I was going to do it myself. And so by the time I filled it out correctly and the state called and we did the interview thing, it was probably mid 2016. All
right. So you had no clients?
Just me and myself. Yeah, right. That was it.
And you had and you said, how are you going to get clients?
Yeah, I was trying to trick so you got to file your assets online. I put some of my money in, and then I waited and I put a little bit more money in and a little bit more just because I wanted to see it grow. And I'm like, all right, now I got to go talk to people. I have to find something somehow. And just family and friends and stuff. And right away I had like 7 family and friends, and I'm like, I can't answer 7 questions at a time. I was like, how am I going to do this? So I made a video to have like a little video support center. And like I've told this before, but some lady in Hawaii saw it and she called. She's like, how do I work with you? Like, what do I do? And so I was like, okay, I don't know how you found that, but I didn't make them private. So the videos were just public.
It was on YouTube though. Did you already have a channel previous to that, or you just said,
No, I made it purely to host the videos so that I could put them on the website.
Gotcha.
For customers, all 7 of them or however many there were.
Right.
And so then I was like, Hawaii, okay, let's intentionally make a video public and actually say something meaningful and see what happens. And that's history, man.
Let's let's take a look, my friends, at Dustin's first. We're not gonna watch the video, but I just want to show you guys. This is pretty cool. So here's his first video right here: how to choose an IRA or Roth IRA. It has less than 400 views, and it's done 4 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
It was some killer graphics, man. That's what that was.
That's freaking hardcore right there. And then he said, "Whoa, I got a customer from that." Did that lady end up working with you, Dustin?
She's still with me. Yeah, actually. Yeah. And Starling, surprisingly, she lives by you. I just looking up both of your addresses. Just for fun. I always been meant to tell him that.
That's crazy, man. That's nuts. That's nuts. All right. So then you got your first client. How long did you so after a year, were you like, rolling in the clients, or are you still kind of struggling? I don't want to say struggling, but there's always a time where you're just like, you're ramping up. You're like, ugh, I'm hoping this is going to work. What happened next?
Well, it was kind of, so I was with Interactive Brokers. That was who I was using. And they still to this day, do a manual account opening process. So when I started getting like 2 people every now and then that wanted to go, I'm like, I can't wait 48 hours for you guys to approve a customer, but they don't want to talk to me because I was a little guy. So I could feel that, I think it was, after like a year, you could feel more people asking questions, wanting to, ask questions about the company, not about the video. So I have to do something. I've got to be able to let them open an account right away. And so that was awesome timing to move to Folio, because like the second we did it, it was just dripping in over and over and over again. But yeah, one of those years, 2017, I think I said, I'm going to make a video every day, New Year's resolution, whatever it takes. And I did it for that whole year. But by the end of the year,
you say that? What made you say that? Did you hear somebody on YouTube saying that's what you should do or something like that? Or what was the impetus?
I just in my head, I'm like, it was that theory of like, if you can bake a pie at 350 in 30 minutes, maybe if you cook it at 550, it'll be done faster. So I just was like, well, let's go.
Yeah.
And I had some help. She actually still works with us, but she was good at marketing. And I said, well, what do I do to stand out? Because I'm not going to dye my hair, get a tattoo or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so they looked all around the industry. She did this whole analysis thing. And she's like, wear a hoodie. If you don't wear a hoodie, wear a raglan softball shirt. And the only thing is, when you do a video, you can't just be hanging out. You have to say meaningful stuff, give people actual genuine help.
She actually wear a hoodie or wear a softball shirt.
That's why every day I still to this, I've never worn a different shirt on the show. My sweater's a hoodie. You can look at any video and I've always got one of these on, or that 3/4 sleeve softball shirt.
Why? Well, I mean, I freaking love it. What's the thing about it? That's interesting. Why? What's the thing behind that? That's crazy.
The theory was that people were intimidated by advisors because of, suit and tie, big chairs. And she said, now you can be yourself, have some branding with it. But if you come across with sort of, mediocre information, then people would discount you. If you come across with really good stuff and keep pushing and pushing, then you build credibility and you're likable and laid back and stuff like that. So,
that's
and it started working. That's why I'm like, every day, this is like good luck. I put it on. I have no other shirts that I wear. I mean, my wife is so mad because every family picture, it's either black, gray, or blue. That's it.
Well, I got my jazz belt hoodie. I don't think it fits. I can't remember. I think it's too small.
You need a youth large, man.
Youth large. I don't know what you gave me. I got one. Maybe I can't remember. That's nuts, man. It's funny. When I started, I was doing my monkey suit. Because the old ball and chain said, you got to look presentable. Charlotte. I said, so then I took off the tie after about a couple of, so what happened was I got dressed for this. And then I said, I took off the tie after a couple of videos. Then I took off I just put a polo, you know what I'm saying? And then after about probably 3 to 4 months, I was renting an office space, like a Regis, ever heard of Regis office?
Oh, yeah.
And then I said, I'm not even doing that anymore. I'm quitting that. I'm just going home, and I'm just going to go the T-shirts, be done with it. I don't even care. It's going to be what it is. And it's interesting. And but it's funny because you see these guys with their freaking, CFPs behind them and all this. And I said, that has literally that has no appeal. Maybe it does to some people, but for me and the people I'm trying to reach, that doesn't have any appeal to them. It's
I knew that I would not get Mr. Multimillionaire. You know, you just, that's fine. If you have to segregate an audience, I'm like, fine. I can't do that anyway. So that was it. And then that's what sort of spawned this whole setup was we could go get a nice office,
right,
or we could have a little fun and do something more unique. And I actually have a customer it's in San Antonio. No, Houston. Sorry. He works for the Houston NCIS division. And I remember talking to him and I said, I don't know how you found me. Is on YouTube, whatever. And he said, the reason I'm talking to you is because I can relate with you. We talk with hardened criminals every single day. We interrogate them and all this stuff. And they don't scare me the least bit. But every one of us here is scared of a financial advisor, a banker, or whatever. And so I think we have like 12 of those people in that one department. And it worked. So I'm like, all right, I'm never taking it off. That's it.
And you shower with it and everything. You know what I'm saying?
I would. Yeah, I would if I could, man.
And you do your laying your grunt work towel down. You got your Jazz Weld hoodie on.
I did. Yeah, that's why there's a hole in it. It's on this side. Yep. I'm telling you, I don't mess around. Yeah, that's how it is. And then when you go around town, like I went to GNC to get something for my brother for Christmas, and you have your mask on and stuff. And the guy was drinking a drink of a YouTuber, and I'm like, hey, I watched that guy. And he looked at me and he goes, Jazz, oh my God, dude, I watch you. And I'm like, there you go. You wouldn't know without the shirt.
That's nuts, man. That's crazy.
All right, I got a question for you then.
Yeah.
What is, when you're doing the planning, what's the number one thing that you find that's a hiccup for somebody? When you put together a plan, is there something that sticks out where it's a hurdle, something that you find people make mistakes on a little bit too much, or you would wish you could push them in that direction? What would that be?
Well, that's a good question, man.
Because they're all unique in their own regard.
Two things. The two is one for practical, which no one knows their expenses. So that's a big one right there, Dustin. So practical, and if you ask me what mine were, I don't know. But I'm not about to retire. I'm not about to live off my portfolio or my Social Security. So I hate to say I don't need to know, but it's not the same thing. It's not knowing expenses is the big one in terms of planning. However, in terms of actually risk mitigation is not having a proper estate plan. And that doesn't mean living trust. I tell you, every single freaking person I talk to, so let me put it this way. They don't have their estate plan correct, if at all, or they don't have their homeowners insurance or auto insurance done right. And so because everyone focuses on financial planning being investments, and it's not. Investments is just not financial planning. Investments is investments. Homeowners insurance isn't financial planning. I mean, it's part of the thing. It's kind of like electricity is part of energy, but electricity is not energy. Energy is all encompassing. You see what I'm saying? So I hear these people say, we have 20% of our power is coming from non-fossil fuels. I said, it's not energy, it's electricity. That's two completely different. Well, it's not two completely different things. One is above the other. Financial planning is the overall thing, and then you got investments, you got insurance, you got all this. But there's lots of silly risks that people take, and especially on estate planning. So we got Charlotte and me. All right, I have an IRA. Inherently, that's my money. It's not hers. It's not. We could be married, as long as freaking Santa Claus and Miss Claus are married. That is my money in my name. That's it. And so she doesn't have access to it. Hey, big boy. Until I die, assuming that she's a beneficiary. But dying is easy. It's an incapacity that's the issue. What happens if I have Alzheimer's, I have a stroke, or I don't know who I am, I fall off, put up Christmas tree lights and stuff like that? How does she have access to my money? Well, she doesn't. But all they say, well, I'm the beneficiary. It doesn't matter. She doesn't have access to my money unless there's a durable power of attorney. And then part two of that is a lot of attorneys that I've worked with, I don't know why they do this, but they will say the durable power of attorney doesn't come into effect until a doctor signs off essentially saying that you are incapacitated. I'm like, well, hell, man, who's going to want to sign off? If a doc I haven't seen in 5 years, here comes Charlotte. She comes to the doc, say, hey, doc, Josh has got Alzheimer's. I need access to his IRA. Doc's like, I don't know who the hell Josh is. I deal with 25 people a day. I want just no doctor is going to take that risk. I mean, they probably would, but still, at the end of the day, who wants to do that?
Yep.
And so that's basic stuff. And I hear it all the time. So what happens if, Josh has a stroke? Oh, no, I'm the beneficiary. I'm like, well, he's not dead.
Not there yet.
What happens? And, you can hear, well, we got to get that done. I said, no, you don't have to get that done. I mean, literally, I get what they're saying. They're going to push it off, but it doesn't piss me off. They just don't know any better. And I said, no, we got to move on that ASAP. And I probably talk more about that and the homeowners stuff and auto insurance, and then the expenses, probably more than I do investments, because investments are, I mean, that's easy, man, in my opinion. Yep. So that's it. I don't know. That makes sense. Any thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah. It's funny how that's sort of the same thing. I'm more of like, especially beginning of last year, I've become the not only what if, but let me take it to the extreme and say what if, because so many people, they're like, oh, I put my beneficiary there, it's fine. But late the year before, we had a family, friends of ours, that they went on a mission trip, husband, wife, son, and daughter. That's the family. Yeah. They went on a mission trip. They were coming back home, had to take a puddle jumper from there to the main airport. Plane went down, killed them all.
Whoa. What, is their client?
Family, he was, yeah. Okay. So, but also they were just friends of ours. They actually a real prominent doctor up at the hospital here. And so now we're left with beneficiary one gone, secondary beneficiaries, one being a minor, gone. Now what? And so it's now in my head, every time someone tells me something, I mean, I could share so many stories from last year that are well beyond anything that you would think could happen to you. And the more I see it happen, I'm like, it's just a numbers game. It's going to happen to somebody next.
And I tell people all the time, I said, an experienced financial planner is a paranoid man. You know what I'm saying? Because just like what you just said there. And people are like, yeah, I'm not. I said, dude, I'm telling you, man, if you've been around long enough, that's what you just said right there. No rookie would ever have to contend with, because he just doesn't know until it happens. And he's like, ooh, and I'm just telling you that. And that's a big deal. It's dude, that's nuts too, because that stuff like that, just I mean, hell, I just read today, I'm from Maine originally, and I just read, I follow the Maine news, and, 2 kids got killed in a car crash. I mean, this stuff happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that is somebody's, and these are children, 16, 17-year-old kids. So there's not a state there, but at the end of the day, presumably, but at the end of the day, this stuff happens all the time. And the thing is, if it happens on my watch and I was negligent in talking about this, that's a problem. On the homeowners stuff, a lot of people will have, they need to have replacement costs as opposed to fair market value on their home, especially if a tornado or hurricane goes through or something like that. The difference between building a home from scratch and actually buying a home for fair market value is 2 completely different things now. Because the lumber,
it's huge down here, because there'll be communities of 700 homes.
Yep.
Well, okay, that's great. They got a deal on the vanity, they got a deal on the tile and all that stuff. As soon as that thing blows over, your costs just changed, because you're not buying 700 homes worth of tile. And you don't think that's going to happen. But to me, I'm like, all right, it was $8 difference to get it, or whatever it turned out to be. Yep. Do it. It's just the little things like that. Instead of saying, like, do I go with the Vanguard 0.03% or 0.05? I'm like, spend the $8 over there. Just go and do that.
It's funny you say that, because that is the next thing is people say, how about, I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, I don't think it matters all that much. Is by the lower fee one, you know what I'm saying? And I just, the investment stuff, people spend a lot. It's weird how much time people spend on investments. And I'm just, and everything else is not falling apart, but everything else is neglected. And the investment side is actually the easiest thing to manage, because it is what it is. I mean, for a fact, if I, buy the Vanguard ETF with 5 basis points, I'm going to get whatever the market does minus 5 basis points. No ifs, ands, or buts. You know what I'm saying? And how much ink is spilled trying to say, well, this guy's better. Oh, man, I was actually a client, or somebody sent me a thing on Bogleheads today or yesterday. I was reading it. It's like, all these guys are spending so much time and energy arguing about the most minute things about investing. Oh my goodness, I just want to take an anvil and drop it on my head, because like it just bores me, to be honest with it, Dustin. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
How about you? What's your biggest when you're working with clients? So you build up a big client base. Like you said, you got enough clients. There's always going to be 1 or 2 that are going to they're going to succumb to. Oh, thanks, babe. Yeah, I've only had my wife on the channel twice, Dustin, both by accident. No one
at least it wasn't fresh out the shower walking across or something.
Well, it's funny. So she works for a CPA firm now, and she's up in our bedroom doing Zoom calls. And oh my gosh, I'm in the shower. So we got the master bedroom. She's way on that wall, and here's the shower. Man. And then Finny comes bursting in the bathroom. I'm in the shower. I was like, holy shit. Thankfully, she wasn't on the video, but I was like, because Finny comes in, hey, what's everybody doing? What are you doing in the bathroom? I was like, dude.
Oh, man. That's going to be a thing. That'll be, how they do like news anchor clips where they make mistakes? That'll be one here soon. Or you go on YouTube, all the times a kid's in class and mom runs by or something.
There was one, I guess. Some dude was like, I was like, damn, man. Did you see that one with the news anchor? And his wife was like, I think Malaysian or something like that. And she came, there's like a baby comes walking in, like doing like this, making all this noise. And the wife comes running in like, ah! And it's the funniest. Oh my, it's like on CNBC or it's a funny, crap me up. And it's just like, yeah. And some people, that's not professional. Like, dude, if you think that's not professional, you got to stick so far up your butt, man. That's the best thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness.
I love it.
We were saying, so
I love it.
What we're just saying? We're just talking about.
My thing was, so at some level of scale, like something happens to somebody every month. I mean, right now there's, you got 2 divorces that I know of.
Yeah.
By the way, the women are leaving the men. So over the last year, I'm probably 24 divorces from customers. The women all left the men. Not one man left a woman. I'm just saying I thought that was kind of straight. After a while, you notice a pattern, but it was interesting because it's just you would think somebody did something wrong at some point, but we're going through that.
Is there a similarity in ages or anything, or what? I'm just curious. Like, are they all 55? The gray divorce we're hearing a lot about, or what?
Last guy, he's 47, and the guy that I just talked to who was panicking, I believe he's 45. I'm gonna look him up, but that's 44. So that's always like a constant. But last year, I mean, there was so many deaths for different reasons. And after a while, not to bring it down or anything, but it got taxing because you would have, generally people just old age and living a great life. But then you have people that one customer sent me his medical records. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? So I gave it to my wife. I'm like, take a look. And it's all this stuff. And she's like, whoa, wow. Did he tell you what was wrong? And I said, no, he just emailed. I don't know if he was supposed to email to the doctor or what. And she's like, I don't think he's got brain cancer. And so I emailed him back and I'm like, did you mean to send these to me? Do we need to talk? And he's like, yeah, we need to talk. And so when he called, I was like, I kind of already know what's going on. And so he's like, I've got, like 3 months, or it was something really short. And so then it becomes that strategy, right? Now we know there's going to be an eventual issue with everything he has, his house and his spouse and everything. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm happy to help. But I mean, it got really tough for a while last year with people in those camps. There was no good news. So I'm happy to see a lot of people back to work, back to life, feeling better and all that so far.
Well, what's causing them divorces so much? I mean, I don't know that. I don't know if that's a lot. I just have no idea. But just 22 dozens, and they're all women leaving the men. Man, I mean, that's interesting. I just wonder what the issue there is. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I say that is I can protect my own asset, my ball and chain, make sure she is up and leave the old Josh.
Yep. I don't usually ask what the reason was. One guy was pretty vocal with me that she had decided to move on with somebody else, and he didn't see it coming and all that. But other than that, I'm like, oh, sorry to hear that, bud. And everybody always calls like, she's gonna take half my stuff. I'm like, all right, just relax. It's not like the movies, we'll get through it.
Right.
But I always tell people my job is to be dead inside when you tell me you've got a problem and just figure out where do we go? What do we do?
Man,
so
that's no doubt, but I can't help but get emotional. Dude, I was talking to a guy in Texas the other day, freaking killed me. And, his wife of 37 years just died. And, they're sitting there watching, I don't know, Saturday Night TV or something like that. And She had, would you make up your mind? This guy can't decide if he wants to stay or go. Give me a kiss. I actually had a lady on my YouTube channel, Dustin. Her name's Kim Davis. I remember this. And she goes, if I wanted to see dog videos, I'd go to somebody else's channel. I said, here's Pablo, Kim. Here he is. Because Dustin folks was saying he can't get a rescue dog in Tampa. He said there's no dogs available. I've never heard of such a thing. That's crazy.
Yep.
Anyway, so this guy, his wife started getting seizures a little bit, and that sucks, but he didn't think deathly. And then just one Saturday, they're sitting there, watching the tube, and she started, going having seizures. What he thought, and then when she turned blue, he called 911, and basically by the time they got to the hospital, she died at 59. Oh. And I hear that a lot actually. And it's just it freaking pisses me. It doesn't piss me off in that regard that. It pisses me off. I mean, it pisses me off in the issue that the industry, our own damn industry, wants people to believe that if they don't have $8,000 million, they'll have to work till they're 75, or else they're all going to be sitting in a poorhouse. And I just, it freaking infuriates me because it's not true. There's no evidence of that. It's not factual, and it's fear mongering. And and that means that you're going to work until you're 70. If your wife doesn't leave you, first and foremost, then she certainly might, freaking just check out because you're still working. You see what I'm saying? And then you might not enjoy the time you have with each other. It's true. It breaks my heart, man. It does. And I get emotionally attached to people. I can't help it. Maybe it's just, I don't know, my background, but I can't be dead. And I know you can't either. You try to be like,
the thing is, I don't do videos anymore on hey, if you have 400,000 and you're 62, can you retire? Because maybe and it's always from a customer. Like I always work it out, but you get so much feedback where people don't believe it. And I'm like, look, for these people, it works. And you can't argue with the numbers. Right. And the other one is that customer, the terminally ill customer who's got days literally to live, when he told me that story, I was like, okay, do you want the financial advisor question, or can I just talk to you as what I would do if I were you? You're not going to like what I say, but if I tell you a direction to go, it's going to be horrible, but it will benefit your spouse more. If I give you the advisor answer, we just get your stuff together. And he didn't want the answer right away. He said, I will have to talk another time. And he had called back and he said, I want you to talk to me like you're a friend. Tell me what I need to do. And that could be a whole thing in itself. But I mean, I was like, all right, this is going to get nasty, but this is what I would do if I was you. And here's how you're going to end up with more money for your spouse. And he just wanted to leave the house to him and everything. But that's one of my biggest struggles is I try to think like we're friends to customers. I've never met most of them. Right. And so when they ask a question, I tend to respond with, buddy, if I was you, here's how it's going to happen. And it's not always textbook. And that's what Cody's learning right now, studying for the Series 65. He asked me a question. I'm like, well, technically that's the answer, but you will never do that in real life because it doesn't apply. So
that's
experience, right? Over time, you just kind of know you got to
challenge though, because at the end of the day, people don't want the textbook. They want the personal. I mean, that doesn't mean they're two completely opposite things. It just means, going back to borrow from your 401k example. The textbook says don't do it, but the textbook is wrong in certain such situations. You know what I'm saying? And you can't just the situation always dictates. But when it comes to people's emotions, and I just did a video the other day, Dustin, that, retirement planning is an emotional endeavor. You know what I'm saying? And I think in our business, a lot of people forget the emotions that go. The guy had emailed me. He had been 30. I can't remember if it was after high school or college, but either way, after school, he went to work for one company for 31 years. You know what I'm saying, Dustin? And he said, he's getting ready to hang up his boots. He's like, Josh, I can't tell you how many emotions I'm going through right now, just because this is all I've done. And it's not an easy thing. It's not just, well, the numbers say that doesn't mean crap. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it means something, but it's not the same thing as the idea of going on to the big unknown. It's a scary proposition.
There's a big one there. I started actually trying to pinpoint people that were closer to retirement and just start throwing little nuggets out there without, picking on them too much. But I started realizing you spend the bulk of your life putting dollars in.
Yes.
you know, and then all of a sudden you retire, and even if you take $1 out of your account, you see it go down, and you're like,
Yes,
oh God,
right.
stress.
Yep.
And so I started telling people, like, get ready for this, because your habit is to do this, and now you have to do this. That will be stressful, and it's always an emotional thing for people, because as soon as they take money out, I get the emails. Can I still take money out? Can I keep going? How long is this going to last? I'm like, don't worry about it. You know, we did this. Let's do it again. Let's take a look. That's a big emotion there.
Freaking scary, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I can't relate, but you have to like prepare for people to get like that, because all of a sudden the rules change. The dollar's got to come out at some point, or you're not going to live, and that's a tough one.
Well, when I started my business, I took $100,000 out of my what was a 401k, and then rolled to an IRA. Had to pay income taxes and a 10% penalty, so it was $130 to put $100,000 in my bank account. You know what I'm saying? Just basically pay for my year, of expenditures while I was waiting for the 2018. While I was waiting for the business to either ramp up or not. I had a bottom line where I said, if my investments go below this bottom line, I have to quit this and I have to go back to work. And that kind of scared the living hell out of me. You know what I'm saying? And I just said, so I said, but it's going to be what it is. I can't control it. All I can control is my inputs, which was the YouTube channel. And I said, but other than that, I can't control anything else. So it's going to work or it's not. And that's liberating. But I tell you, man, that's one thing. I mean, I was only in my 40s back then. I can go dig ditches. But if I'm 72 years old and I go beyond that threshold, that ain't no joke. That ain't no joke. And that's it's man. I just wish our industry would. I hate to bash on our industry all the time, but I just wish our industry would recognize that it's not just about spreadsheets and numbers. There's left side and right side brain that has to meet to figure this stuff out, man. And when you're talking about what you just said right there, Dustin, is, I mean, when I was making like $200,000 a year. I was adding, $50,000 a year to my 401k, and and then all of a sudden you just stop. Not only you're not adding it, but you're not making any money, and now you're taking. You see what I'm saying? It's like you're turning on a dime, and it changes everything. And then you start getting real worried about the markets. I remember, like, I don't care. I said right now I don't care because I'm adding money to it, but when you start pulling money out, you start getting nervous about those markets, and that's where it gets scary, man. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
I have a closest friend of mine. His family are customers, and they're deep in retirement. They're living their life, having a great time. They don't have technically enough to go haywire in retirement. And when the markets fell, the virus dropped there somewhere in March, they started calling. Should we do something different? And we're getting a little worried here. And on March 23rd, he called and he was like, I think our best option is to just get out. Maybe we'll just sell everything. And I was like, look, if you were anybody else, I would probably try to, talk nicely to you and help you out here, revisit everything. And I said, but you're going to literally have to drive down here and fight me to get me to sell your investments. And the market bottomed, I think, later that day or the next day.
Wait, was this in March of last year?
Yes.
Yep.
He wanted out. He said, we thought about it. We just think it's the best thing to do. And I'm like, listen, we've gone over how your investments move. I always use speed. I always say the markets are moving 100 miles an hour. You're moving 32 miles an hour. You can't get hurt crashing at 32 miles an hour. You're going to be fine. And they wanted out. And I remember just saying, I love you guys to death, but you're going to have to physically come down here and make me do it. You can't tell that to you can't say that sort of thing to anybody, but he was thankful he didn't pull the trigger. Man,
the SEC is listening right now, Dustin, and say, you did not let this guy out. We're coming after you.
Yep. Well, we did our audit. Did I tell you we got audited by them?
Oh, good. How'd that go?
We responded the fastest that anybody's ever responded to an inquiry. And the guy, interesting fact, the auditor is a heavy metal drummer on the weekends. I thought that was so hilarious. But they sent us, I think, 24 requests of things to look at. And we keep it all. I mean, we have our own back end now. We don't use any third-party software. So it was a matter of saying, hey, let's just compile the data, send it to them. It was like 42 million lines of code that were basically put in spreadsheet format. And they went through everything. And they picked out stuff, came back, said, we have a question about this or that. And then they got quiet for a while. They did the exit interview, and they said, other than putting on your ADV, it said, how many people do you provide advice to that you do not pay or get paid from? I put 0 because I'm like, right, I don't why would I do that? That seems like a trap, right? I would get in trouble. Well, the answer is supposed to be the number of customers you have. So that was our ding. They got mad at us for that. And I said, well, fine. They said, you misinterpreted the spirit of the question. And I said, come on, man, I do investments for a living. There's no spirit in this. It has to be one or the other.
Right.
And,
no, because you can't use that against them later on when they, you know what I'm saying, as a defense. Yep. Well, the spirit of the question was they won't allow that to happen.
And it came up. We said, we saw your YouTube channel, saw everything you did. They verified that we keep audits and titles and everything. And then they said, we prefer you didn't have comments on your channel because a thumbs up is considered a testimonial and a testimonial is not allowed. And so they said, you can, people could leave testimonials and stuff. And I said, well, doesn't the SEC have a channel and they allow comments? Because I checked that before I did all this. And they're like, we do, but we have it set that they were a whole thing. And I was like, okay, well, if you take it away, then I should have to take it away. And I was, at that point, I was really frustrated with them. And so they let us leave it for now. But we dual archive everything. They're saved in 2 locations, all that great stuff. So we're following the rules, and I don't respond to testimonials of any kind. And that was it. Good times to get you fired up.
But I've heard the change, and there are going to allow testimonials. I'm hearing. Have you heard that?
Oh, that'd be awesome! I'd go get Jimmy Johnson to do a commercial for me in a heartbeat, man.
No, that's it was approved, and then our current president has said let's hold off on that. But the SEC has actually literally had rules to change for for testimonials and stuff, which I was stunned by. And I'm sure it has to do with the stupid things like thumbs up. That's freaking so dumb, man. I'm just like, come on. But anyway, so apparently that is being they already rolled it out, and then the admin administration of Sniffy Joe there said let's put that on hold. So we'll see how it comes down. But at the end of the day, that looks like it's going to come down the pike to be approved, which is amazing.
I love it. You know how many advisors don't like me or get mad at me or will call or leave emails or something that, you're going to jail. This is wrong. You can't do that. At least 100. I mean, I can't, I'm not exaggerating that number at all. At least 100.
100 of what? Well, I mean, I don't get it. Well, they'll email you.
They see the videos, they see whatever, and they go, you can't have that. You're not supposed to do that. You can't have people leaving comments. I've had screenshots of comments that people left that said, good job, Dustin, love Jazz Wealth. And they'll say like, this is an offense. You can't do that. And I'm like, I don't tell them, essentially the SEC had no problem with it because I don't, then they won't do it too. Right. But yeah, genuine. Like I have one official advisor friend lives over here in Lakeland, a great guy. And other than that, only negative comments from advisors. The comments that people leave on YouTube when they disagree with you using expletives and stuff like that, far more nicer than what I've heard from advisors. I'm like, okay, we're not going to have any friends in this industry, but I'm just going to do what I do.
Well, I mean, and they're like horrible, like really, assholes to you and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And they don't even know you.
Yep. Very much so. Yep. And I would say the Wells Fargo advisors are the worst. They would be the worst. Yep.
Well, we did when I was down there. Jazz Wealth. Someone just said, "What's your channel?" It's Jazz Wealth. I forgot who said that. Is whoever asked that question. That's Dustin's YouTube channel, Jazz Wealth. And you just go to youtube.com/Jazz Wealth. I think actually when I was down there, that's right in the midst of the Wells Fargo. There was some serious controversy. You did a couple videos on them. I remember that. And I was like, these guys, what the hell's going on? You know what I'm saying? Remember that? It was well,
because so I don't like pick on anybody, but it happened that customers were going, I now have 6 accounts at Wells Fargo. Yes. I now have a line of credit. And I'm like, what is going on? So that became a problem for me. And so therefore it became a problem publicly because I'm like, how do they get away with just you have a home equity line of credit? You have a new checking account? That's not right. That was a big problem. So when you start, and that's what's cool about being all over the United States now is when some scam comes out or whatever, I'll get 40 emails. When somebody says something about me on your channel, I'll get 40 emails. Anything. It could be anything at all. Yeah. I like that. You keep in tune with what's going on. A lot of it's, garbage or whatever, but Man, yeah, the advisors are very tough on me. Yeah, I can handle people disagreeing with me on YouTube comments, but advisors know the words to say. They know how to press the buttons.
And they're looking for reasons to narc on you. Like, I can't believe he's only wearing a freaking t-shirt, softball shirt, when we have to wear a monkey suit. You know what I'm saying? It's
there's a guy, local radio guy. They do their business on the radio here. He's an advisor, and he made a roundabout comment about me, saying you can go on YouTube and watch some guy in a softball t-shirt or some kid in a hoodie, or you can come to us and all this. And I'm like, I made it. That's how you know you made it, man. Yeah. And he doesn't know. I actually sat next to him at a concert one time, and his breath, man, it was horrible the whole time. I was like, this guy, but he doesn't remember me.
Well, it's funny, man. He's got stinky breath. He's gonna be driving his clients away. Doesn't even know it. You know what I'm saying?
I got a nickname for him. So at one point I don't know how he would see it, but I'm like, one point I got to get back with him.
Dude, that's the fact that this guy's busting your, kahunas. That means they see. That's interesting. Oh, that's awesome, man. That is fantastic. That makes me so happy, Dustin. The problem though has been the SEC. The insurance guys are. I got a lady who's on this right now watching. She's emailed me a couple times. This guy on Facebook emails her this insane stuff on using life insurance for a retirement plan. It's freaking thing's nuts. Thanks,
Roth. Because you can borrow against it. That'll be great. It's tax-free to borrow against your plan. I always tell people, did you go there looking for insurance, or did you go there looking for a plan you could borrow against? Like, where did this come from? It's a great sales pitch. They are the best salespeople.
Well, they're good. They literally are trained well to make these arguments. But the problem is, they're not regulated by the feds. They're only regulated by the states. And so as
they
such,
can say whatever they want.
Whatever they want. And yet here we are. Well, not me anymore, because I don't do that. But here we are on the investment side. We can't even have a thumbs up, but they can say whatever the hell they want. It's like, what? I mean, so I'm reading this guy's email to this woman. I'm like, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. I'm just like, and there's a guy on YouTube, some life insurance guy's like, yes, you can have tax-free retirement plan. Just move your 401k over. I'm like, it doesn't work. Like I'm sitting here thinking. So we got this group of people who's the Wild West, and then we got this group of people who can't freaking say water's wet, and yet somehow we're that's protecting Grandma Jones from a bunch of bad sales guys. The whole thing's nuts, man. And so then, of course, the people who follow it like this are just robots. They can't have independent thinking, because if they do, if it's counterintuitive by whatever their freaking compliance guy says, then they'll get dinged. I mean, it's crazy.
Yep. It's very interesting to see. I just having there was a Wells Fargo group that came. These guys were nice, by the way, but the Wells Fargo team, the guy that owns this entire building and everything, he has a team of advisors. And he was like, I got to move to Jazz Wealth. These guys don't do anything. He was giving me this business. He brings them over to kind of see what we do. And the one guy, all of them were nice, but this one guy, he's like, well, how much you managing and everything? And I'm like, that doesn't, I'll tell you, but it doesn't matter. And so the one guy who's like, oh, this is cute. I like your cute little studio. And I'm like, that's awesome. And I'm like, your black Escalade. What's that, 2020? I'm like, that's cute too. So we had fun kind of picking on each other. And I'm like, God, I can't deal with that. But they were insurance guys as well. So they got to say things to him. He comes over, he's like, is this true? And I'm like, technically it's true because they said it, but it's based on hypothetical back testing. So you have to take it for what it is. And that's it.
As you drive a 2020 Escalade that he's leasing that he can't, the whole thing's dust.
It was sharp, man. It was a good looking truck. That's the thing with me. Like, I don't, if you ever see me driving around, I don't care for the fancy cars. Every time I buy, like the car that's right behind this camera, it's a 1941 Ford truck, but it's brand new on the inside. So I can drive it as like it's a car. I'll be able to sell that for at least what I paid for it, if not more, down the road. I can't stand
really driving?
Yeah, it's parked right in here. I park it in here every day. Like when you walked in that door, it's right there.
So wait, so you're driving a 1941 Ford pickup truck? Is that what you said?
Ford, yeah, it's a Ford truck.
But on the inside, it's all up to date and everything. All
got
done.
A Corvette LS2 motor in it. It's
Did you put that in and everything?
It's been a while, yeah, but it's what?
How do you know how to do all that stuff, man? You know what I'm saying? Just your dad taught
YouTube.
YouTube. No kidding.
Well, especially for like the transmission, that is a very common transmission, but I want to be able to drive it on the highway and stuff. So you can't drive these old trucks sort of standard on the highway. They just have 3 gears. So that was a big challenge for me. But other than that, yeah, it's a brand new mechanical car.
Right.
It's just from 1941. Here, I'll see if I can turn this on.
Oh yeah, dude, I want to see that, man. That's fantastic.
Looks, I don't know how this comes off, but yes. There you go. Let's see, is that it?
Looks like we're blacked out, Dustin. They see if you can plug the there. Oh man, yeah, all right, yeah. Screw. Oh, look at that, baby, dude. That's
so.
Has it got a bed?
Yeah, I can't lift the camera up anymore, but it's a regular truck.
Oh, that's freaking fantastic. Dude, I'd take that any day over the week over 2020 Escalade that the guy's leasing for $1,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? Oop. Did we lose you? Well, that's an exercise in did we lose him or did we lose me? Am I still on here? Let's see. All right, so yeah, okay. It looks like black is well, especially down in Florida heat, man. In the Florida heat, that's hey, thanks, Kim. All right. So all right, so my man Robo says, Dustin, I think we lost you. Let me text old Dustin here. Oh, my babies are sleeping. I think we lost. Yeah. All right. All right. So Robo Brio says, will Jazz Wealth ever offer alt investments? JW manages own funds. Alt investments are private equity, direct investment, startup. I don't know. We'll have to ask him, man. We'll have to ask him that. All right. So appreciate those super chats, folks. All right, Kim, I appreciate your super chat. You got anything on your mind, Kim? What is a LS2? It's firing back up with a 4L6 OE. Man, I got no idea. I have no idea. Be there in a sec. Right on. Yes, those cyber trucks. Oh, yep, those cyber trucks look pretty cool to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. You got an L82 Corvette here. None of that means anything. I don't know what those things say. I don't even know like this. An LS52. That literally that's French to me. I have no idea what that means. Thanks, Rebecca. Awesome live stream. Al Katrine says I follow both your channels. Right on. Right, Corvette motor. This guy says it's a GM engine and transmission. All right. LS2 is a Corvette engine. Gotcha. My wife got angry when I told her I would drive a 2009, my 2009 Chevy until it's 20 years old. Right on. LS2 is a modern engine. Wow, you guys. Oh boy, we got lots of these guys. 4L6OE is a modern overdrive transmission. I don't know what that is. What would be an underdrive transmission? Sorry, man. Don't forget, we didn't have a car growing up until I was 14 years old, so we had no car. All right, so I never was I never got under the hood of any car because we had none. Only thing we had was bicycles, old-fashioned bicycles. Oh, there's Dustin. Let me add you here. Okay, Dustin. All right, he's getting back.
There we go. All right, I'm back.
All right, so everybody's talking about the LS2 Corvette engine. LS2 is a motor in a Chevy. All right, so we got lots.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I don't even know what that means, man. So a lot of people are saying they love it, but they don't like the color.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah. So what, my man Robo, I got a little echo. You hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. There we go. All right. So my man Robo says, will you ever offer alternative investments, private equity and all that stuff right here? Will Jazz ever offer alt investments direct and startup private companies, whatnot?
No, what we're looking to do next is, if you're Mike Tyson or somebody, some celebrity, right? Imagine Trump, even a business guy, president, does this whole thing. Do you think he pays his electric bill, like scratches a check or somehow has to remember to pay the bill on time? Well, there's people for that. Right. So the next step for us is, how do you scale traditional, like private, high net worth money management for the individual? So in other words, how do we track and follow with your personal finances as well as the investments, but also how do we take control of that? So if we're literally paying your insurance bill, how do we then make sure you're paying the cheapest amount? Like, so each time we pay your insurance bill, can we go find a better deal for you? Is there anything that you're missing out on? Like we were talking about a minute ago, and how your insurance is actually gauged towards, property you own and things. How do we take it to that level so somebody could have that hands-on, true total financial management in addition to the investments? And so we've built or are building in the back end ways to be able to do that. So it's not anything I've ever seen done before, but I think in the right way, I think it'd be really sweet.
Gotcha. So it's something to progress what you're doing.
Yep, we've tested it on all of ourselves and a couple others that are willing to be guinea pigs, and we're trying to basically build a little AI into it so that we can see, how you can follow your credit score on a monthly basis, right? So that's a new thing. Well, you can also follow insurance rates at the same pace. So what if we could tap into that? And if you're paying too much for your auto insurance, instead of being commercial that says you may be able to save money, what if we can actually just show you? And if that happens, we make the switch for you, get it all situated and everything, down to, electric bills and, all that stuff. Or to take it to Big Brother land. What happens if you don't have enough money saved in your savings, but I find out that you went on a cruise because the system told me you went on a cruise and you don't have the dough to go on a cruise, right? So now we have a sort of accountability there as well. So there's that fine line between, true Big Brother and people that want that extra accountability.
Well, I think he was talking about like alternative investments.
Well, and because of that, we wouldn't focus on that. Now, customers can choose to participate in direct listings, IPOs, things like that. But we would never offer that.
Okay. But through Jazz Wealth, they can be part of that if they wanted to.
Yeah, I have customers that are in all kinds of weird things. Actually, one of them, the guy told me about that was an offering that he decided to participate in. The company's right down the road. So I was like, I'll be right back. I drove down there just to see, like, what are you guys doing in here? It's like a water, kind of a water distribution purification thing.
Cool, man. That's yep. Are you doing any just covered calls or anything like that for clients? Or can they do that inside of Jazz Wealth or any kind of options?
We do it for retirees. Okay. So those, and it's usually those that are they've almost got enough, right, but they're going to need that little extra income kicker. Yeah, so exactly do that. The kids ask all the time, but we don't do it for the kids.
No. They hear these YouTube channels about do this, do that, do this, do that, Motley Fool, and I'm like, ugh. Big E from Bernie, Texas, where I used to live many, many moons ago, Dustin, says he watches Jazz Wealth Advisors on YouTube every market day. Exceptional analysis.
Thank you, sir. I love it there. Love talking about that stuff.
That was your mom actually writing in.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Dustin's the best guy ever. Okay, Mom. Let's see. Medic says we used to bank with Wells Fargo and has been since it was Wachovia First Union. After that story broke, we closed everything, moved to a local regional credit union. That's the problem is with these guys is you can't. It's easy to build a reputation. It's easy. I mean, it's hard to build a reputation, but man, it's easy to destroy it. That's for sure.
Yep. Oh, there's so many times. You get going, you're talking about something, and inherently you'll say married filing separately instead of jointly just because you're talking, and that's not the real rule or something. I can't tell you how many times, man. You accidentally say the wrong thing, and you almost want, put a little blurb, but nobody looks at the blurb.
No, that happens to me a lot. And I, basically I just verbal vomit, you know what I'm saying? For me, and I just, it's a stream of consciousness. And people said, you said this and stuff. I'm like, I just, I don't know, whatever, Dust. I'm just either I'm too old or I'm too cynical. I don't care. I'm like, the gist doesn't change. But yeah, I probably should have said 2 + 2 is 4 instead of 5 by accident. But, if you watch the video, you'll see the whole thing. It's just some of these guys who go through this huge, elaborate, they make these videos like freaking, a Hollywood production. I don't get it. I mean, some are fantastic. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm just like, wow, that takes a lot of time.
As close as I'm getting to any sort of production.
I
have simple rules because people will be like, oh, you deleted my comment. I'm like, all right, well, this is not like a democracy, first of all. But if you say something, if you disagree with me, that's okay, right? We can have two sides of the same argument. If you're rude to me, we're going to fight back. Yeah. If you say something I wouldn't want my daughter to see, I'm going to delete it. That's it.
You go through your comments every day or what? I got an app here, so I'll be sitting there talking to my kids or watching a game, whatever. I'll go through them, but right before I go to bed or something like that, do you go through your comments like on a set time or what do you do in that regard?
It doesn't tell me. So now, like, there'll be so many comments that I don't know how it picks which ones it's going to show me. Or have come to my phone, but there's some like Bruce, Bruce, he's a great supporter and he comments literally on every single video and I can't respond back to his comments because they're testimonials the way he says it.
Right.
So I had to go out of my way. I was like, hey, Bruce, look, I see you there. I thank you so much, but I cannot even hit a thumbs up on your comment. So he was cool about that.
Oh, Bruce from New York, man. I know Bruce.
Right.
All right, so let's see here. All right, so if you all have, we'll get you. So Dustin, let me ask you a question just about. So Dustin bought a house that he's working on in Florida. What's your thought about just real estate investing? Obviously, you got a smoking deal in this house and stuff, but just you've been. I think you said 13 different houses you bought and sold and whatnot. Just what do you think as the market is right now, real estate wise, Dustin? Any thoughts on that? Because you're more experienced than I am for sure.
It's very tough. There's the crowd that's sitting back saying, as soon as that moratorium is lifted, there's umpteen million foreclosures that are going to come out, and that's what I'm going to strike. I'm going to do that.
That's interesting.
But what are you going to do? I mean, you got Biden. Biden's probably cool to just leave it forever, and you can never kick somebody out of a house. You don't know. I mean, like we're still new with this guy, so I don't agree with that. I think if someone's interested in getting started, then you just kind of keep your finger on the pulse in your area. And I've always lived around here. So for me, when something pops up, it's like, I know where it's at. I know the neighborhood, all that stuff. I'm comfortable, within price ranges. So that's that. But the kids that want to buy and flip and stuff, I always just kind of go, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. It's hard work, man, to physically do it. But I get that question a lot, real estate, and just depends on whether you're flipping or renting or what you want to do.
So the moratorium is that if you were a landlord and you had, some clown over here who's not paying your rent, you can't kick him out, but yet you still have a freaking mortgage to pay. I mean, is there more moratorium on the landlord have to pay the mortgage? Is it just on primary residences or what? I mean, that's just.
Yep, they're getting help too. So it's not that you're stiffing. If you're the tenant and you stop paying your rent, you can't be kicked out. If you're a owner of a house and you stop paying the mortgage, you can't be foreclosed on. But the banks and the landlords get assistance too. So it depends on the state, I guess, how much funding they were able to pull from that last bill. But our state, clean as can be, man. I mean, they got all the money, I guess.
So you would get assistance to cover what you're not getting from your tenant, essentially. Is that what you're saying?
In Florida. I don't know like what other states are, but Ron DeSantis, good friend of old President Trump. So any money or anything that needed to come to Florida faster got here faster.
I mean, but at the end of the day, someone is holding the wet bag. I mean, they can't just that.
Well, look at Navient, right? You don't make your student loan payments. If you have federal student loans, you literally would get a zero. It would say nothing owed, nothing gained, no interest or anything. So what's Navient doing? That's what they do. They have no income coming in at all. Like nobody has to pay. So how's that stock in existence? Notice all the shares that they're selling. They need money.
I don't know who that is. Who's Navient?
Federal loan service provider. It's a public company.
It is?
So, yeah.
The
So
federal service provider is a publicly traded company. It's where you can buy shares in it.
yeah, they just had earnings last week, I think. So how's that work? Right, the money's got to come from somewhere.
And so, this doesn't make any sense, man. I mean, there's someone over here that has loaned money to somebody that's not getting paid, and theoretically, I never thought about like what you said. The initial people, the minute they lift the moratorium thing, it's going to be. I mean, what do you think? It's your own personal opinion. I mean, do you think let's just say the Biden administration lifts the moratorium, just for simple. Will there be a boatload of foreclosures just massively coming to market?
Well, you can actually track it. So I'm data guy. So let me see if I can pull it up. So we belong to Black Knight. So Black Knight tracks all this, and they monitor the foreclosures that are piling up. Those that would be in foreclosure if they could be in foreclosure. Come on.
How do they know this? How do they know? How do they know that data?
20 more than 600,000. Let's see where they're getting it from. 24% of active forbearance plans scheduled for the end of March. I just did this too.
It's public. That's public data. Like they know, Dustin TIbbits isn't paying his mortgage, and he's going to be, piling up in foreclosure.
Yep. Except for, I think it's Goldman Sachs. They're the only ones that, with all of their partners, they don't report. Everybody else reports, and these guys collect the data on that.
Because Goldman Sachs is running the country.
Yeah, they don't mess around. That's for true. By the way, Folio was bought by Goldman Sachs, right?
I did not know that.
They own the technology. So we were trying to do our own thing and build our own software. Well, you have to get permission from them. And they put everything on hold, and they said, well, Goldman's got to make the decision. So I was on the phone they actually took my call. I was pretty happy with that. And he said, well, we're going to have to wait, see what we can do. And I'm like, I'm dead in the water. You're letting me sit here. I got something I want to build. They said, we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait. So I said, well, okay, I know your email address now. So I'm going to just start telling people on the YouTube channel, this is your email address to get you, to just push you along. And so I mentioned it one day, he got 1,200 emails.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
He got 1,200 emails, and that was literally the reason that they allowed us access to their back end so that we could start our development there.
Dude,
it was awesome. But other than that, yeah, that is a force to be reckoned with.
Literally, it's awesome to have an audience. We raised probably in the last year over $10,000 for this family who's let's just put it this way. She adopted her sister's children because her sister died. We don't need to go too deep in that, Dustin. And it's awesome having an audience that actually supports you and cares about you as a friend and an advisor, obviously. But man, it's awesome because it says, look, man, we're not just here it's the thing about having a personality where you're opening up yourself to people, is that you're allowing people to kind of enter into your realm, which can be kind of frightening at the same time. And I don't like have my kids all over the thing and all that, but it's just awesome because stuff like that, you say, look, I need some help here, or I'm requesting some help. Can you help? And that's a big deal.
Yep. I was actually, I don't know if it was Atlanta. I was waiting in Atlanta for a plane or something. Or Minneapolis, I think. And I was sitting, no, it was Atlanta. We were going to Ohio. So I was sitting in the Atlanta airport, and I'm just playing on my phone or whatever, and somebody just goes, Dustin.
Hell, man.
And I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, how many Dustins do you know in this world? And I was just kind of scrolling. He goes, Dustin. And I turned and looked at him. I'm like, I don't know who you are. I'm sorry. No idea. He's like, I watch you all the time. We talked for like an hour while we waited, and I was just like, cool. He knew me, and I was like, I knew his screen name, so I was like, oh, man, that's cool.
You stroked it for 100 million bones. Dave gave us $50, Dustin. You got anything, a question or comment, Dave, you want us to read here? So what is that? Black? Oh, you know Dave here by chance? I don't know. Dave
gave you $50? Why? How does that work?
Something called a super sticker? I don't know what that is, a super sticker. But
wow.
$50. Thank you, sir. What is your Black Knight folks saying? I assume that's like an Army USMA. Are they saying about the potential foreclosures?
Yeah, so there's like right now you've got 3.6 million 90-day defaults that built up in 2020. So even though you couldn't foreclose on them, there are 3.6 million homes that are 90 days past due.
Ooh.
So if you go back to 2009, the number was 2.1 million. So that we would officially be bigger than the financial crisis. These guys aren't like it's not like a blog where they try to scare people.
Right,
It's just the data.
just a data, right?
So the theory is there that, and I agree that at some point these people either need to get back on track or they will be foreclosed on. And so their theory is from investors, I'll sit back and wait for that day so I can pounce or whatever. And I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Biden as a president allows those people to go into foreclosure. I don't see it. So somehow there's something to be worked out there, but those banks have to collect payment, right?
It doesn't make sense. You can't.
It's like they used to have, we call it stimulus, and then there was the what was the last one? Secure Act, the CARES Act. Like at some point they start changing the name.
Right.
They're like what it was global warming, now it's climate change, right? I know that's your thing. But so it's kind of like 2008, right? Now we're gonna have TARP. We're gonna have all these different names. I think there would be something there that would be like a ramp up. I think that knowing Biden's history, he would come up with something that would say, you're 90 days or more behind, you now have 2 years to catch up on your payments without being foreclosed on. I could just see that coming. I don't agree with it, but I could just see that coming.
Well, I mean, it matters not what you and I agree with. It matters that this doesn't make any sense because, I mean, I'm just sitting there and I hate the banks. I can't stand these guys. Trust me. But I mean, someone did something to turn on money to go downstream to you could buy your house or you could rent your house. Someone is paying that money back to somebody, an investor. I don't even care if it's Chinese communists. There's somebody who did something here to start this process. Yep. And right now they're not getting paid. And in of itself, I'm not even arguing that. I'm just saying, I mean, literally, this is modern monetary theory on steroids. If we can just say, don't even worry about paying your mortgage. But here's the thing that Biden is doing, which freaking pisses me off too. We're going to waive some of the student loans. Like, well, how about the people who pay their student loans on time, fool? And how about the people who are paying their mortgages on time? What are they going to get if they're going to allow these people who are, deficit or deficient in paying the mortgage? I mean, you can't just reward the people who are on their backs. You can't just say, hey, we're going to help you out while the people who are struggling to pay their bills on time are screwed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a tough one. So what I did is I'm a believer. You take a loan, you pay the loan. I don't know how else you agreed to it. So, but I wrote it was an email I sent out to customers just saying, hey, look, here's where we're at. If you have student loans, you currently don't have federal student loans. You don't have to make payments.
Right.
You now have a president that wants, and Elizabeth Warren and all them, they want to erase some level of student loans. So let's put aside whether you agree or disagree on this.
Right.
And let's play the numbers.
Right.
You don't have to make payments now.
Right.
You may get 10,000 or 20,000 waived. So I told everybody, I'm like, this is where you start taking those payments. Just save it. Do whatever you want to do. Pay your other debts off.
Yep, you didn't make the rules. I say the same thing about bankruptcy. Everyone's word which is a stupid. Elizabeth Warren lied her freaking Native American butt off when she said that there's bankruptcies making 56% of the people, whatever it is, from healthcare. It's false. It's completely fabricated, completely false. She knows it. Everybody knows it. But it's a very good story. Bankruptcies healthcare puts 56% of the people in bankruptcy. It's not true. But even if it were, I say, okay, let's just say you didn't make the rules on healthcare. Let's just say you have a catastrophic event and you can't pay it. I can't say file bankruptcy, but I can say, hey, if that's your last thing, they can't get your house, right? They can't get your 401k. So just you got to take care of number one, man. Number one, no one else is going to take care of number one. Biden isn't, Trump isn't, no one else is going to. And if these are the rules that they put on us, just play with them. And I'm the same damn thing, Dustin. I said, look, why would you pay student loans? If they said don't pay it and you have no savings, freaking save some money up, man. For heaven's sake, you got to take care of yourself first and foremost. If later on they say we're not paying the student loans, you'd be glad you saved that money up. That's bull crap. But we didn't make the rules. You know what I'm saying, Dustin? Their rules are being made for us to play, and we'd be stupid not to take advantage of them. It's just
some of my last words to my grandmother, because she got more and more ill, and she'd been in her house her whole life. She was struggling now to make the payment on the house, which was sad because it was like $400 a month. But now she had medical bills, and she was like, I don't know, I can't make them. They want me to pay and all this stuff, make a monthly plan. And I was like, what are they going to do?
exactly.
You're going to stress about this. And to be honest, how many years do you have? Like, let's have that conversation. You enjoy the house that you have. Nobody's coming after you. Be fine.
Who cares? It's funny because my experience was my second daughter, Chloe, went to the University of Virginia neonatal intensive care unit, the NICU, for her first month of her life. Long story short, we had probably $40,000 in bills to pay UVA. I come across a somewhat of a up and coming politician in my neck of the woods, and I remember at a party, we're just talking to him, and he had similar scenario, and he had a couple tens of thousands in debt to UVA too. He had, and then turns out they just, like a stroke of a check, they eliminated his debt. And I said, but they didn't eliminate mine. And it's just because he was an up-and-coming politician. He won his first seat. He started getting some notoriety. I'm not mad at him. I said, okay. So basically, the hospitals are playing favorites. So grandma, screw them. Freaking live in your house. Let them come after you. I mean, because these hospitals are playing politics. They're probably other than the pharmaceutical companies, they're probably the biggest political players there are. You know what I'm saying? And they'll either get paid or they won't. But it has nothing to do with grandma and worrying about it, because trust me, there's a lot of up-and-coming politicians that are being heavily rewarded by these guys and not having to pay the bills that you and I do. So you got to play the game. Sucks, but again, we didn't make the rules. That whole thing infuriates me. But be it as it may, we are financial planners, and financial planning says I can't take care of that guy across the street. I can take care of my client, and my client, you need to save money. And the best way to save money is the tools that we have available. The best tool is not to pay your student loan. One guy just said, well, what I should do then is go take a bunch of student loan debt because he already paid off. I said, I'm not saying you should, but I'm just saying, man, that is the incentive that we have here, is to go ahead and take a bunch of debt, because they're just going to write it off. It just magically disappears. We're the happy land in happy land. That's from Homer. You know what I'm saying, Dustin? Homer Simpson. We're happy.
Yep. Big Simpsons fan.
Yes,
Simpsons Family Guy.
Right on. And then Homer slams the door. I was being sarcastic, Marge. And Marge goes, all right. So anyway, we got so that's interesting. So almost twice as many potentially foreclosed homes. And I get you got population, I get that, but still 2 times as many foreclosed homes than in 2009. Yeah.
Well, that are 90 days delinquent or further. So they're not, we can't say foreclosed yet. We can say that they are severely behind. So every now and then on the show in the afternoon, I'll cover things like how many people are newly delinquent, which is 30 to 60 days, or extremely delinquent, which is over 90 days, on credit cards, automobiles, homes. And we'll just go through them just to see. And what you see when you look at it is basically you've got auto loans and credit cards and stuff. Then student loans, it's dropped. It's just a flat line, because you may be delinquent, but you don't count as delinquent. We know you're delinquent, but we can't count you because of the rules. So agree or disagree, those are the numbers you're looking at there.
It's almost like a great reset. It's almost like we're having this massive great reset in front of our very eyes.
Oh, as of mid-January this year. So the update is now that you have 2.7 million homeowners that remain in an active forbearance plan, or 90 days or later in default. So that number's getting better. But that's a lot of millions of people, though.
Yeah, that's a lot of voters, Dustin. A lot of voters. You know what I'm saying? And the elections are every 2 years, man. And it's a whole lot easier to kick that can down the road. And look, at the end of the day, I'm not angry at those homeowners. They didn't ask for freaking the shutdowns. You know what I'm saying? They didn't ask for the freaking mandates and all this crap. You know what I'm saying? It's just the whole thing's nuts. And that, by the way, for those people who think I'm a Trump, I'm a big Trump fan, but this all happened under him. I'm just telling you right now, it happened under Trump's watch. So I'm not sitting there saying, Trump could do no wrong, because it happened. People say, but Josh, no, it happened under him. And I'm still pissed by this whole thing. This whole year is nuts. And they got kids kids at home, Dustin, are freaking suicidal. You know, I hear examples of this. I don't know if you ever heard a guy named Wrangler Star on YouTube. Wrangler Star. He's fantastic, and he had an email a guy sent to him, one of his followers, and it said his son was a student, all this until the lockdowns, and he literally killed himself in front of his dad, his 15-year-old son, and then all these other people were writing in saying something similar happened. I just, dude, it's a crisis of our youth, and it's horrible, and it should never be like this, but there it is. All right.
Well, people say that, you know, what's the, like, I'll get people that, I'm sure I have customers on both sides of the fence and both extreme sides of the fence, but people will say that, like, you know, where do you stand or something? And I'm like, tell me what the game is so we can play it, right?
Yeah,
what is it?
Well, the game
I can disagree.
Yeah. The game is what George Carlin said. It's a big party, and we ain't in it. You know what I'm saying? That's what George Carlin said. That's what I'm saying. And the red versus blue is a false dichotomy. I'm telling you. Let's see. All right, so we'll let you get out of here. I know you were busting your butt here today doing some grunt work.
It's nice to sit for a while.
You're going to get back and lay some more towel, or you're going to call it a night? Are you East Coast Central Time?
It's Eastern, yeah.
Okay.
No, we're still going.
What's happening, Mark? You're going to hit the Super Bowl, and I mean, not hit the game, but you hit the airport and watch the bombers fly by?
That's where I'll be. I'm fascinated.
Man.
Fascinated by where they're coming from. There's three B-2 bombers coming from 3 different locations around the country.
Oh.
They're going to meet up over the Gulf of Mexico, and they're going to do circles while they pipe in the national anthem into their headset. And they're programming the stadium as if it's a spot that they have to be over to drop a bomb at that point. So that way the plane knows to be right over the stadium at the very end of the national anthem, which means if you're one of those prop bet people that's betting on how long the national anthem is, those are the guys that you want to know. They know exactly how long it's going to be. That's it.
Dude, that's you got to freaking live stream there, or at least take a video for that, man. That sounds freaking awesome.
Be a good time.
I remember I was at an Army Navy game up in Philly, and it was freaking cold as ice. It was miserably cold, but the one thing was when those bombers went by, it made you, man.
Yeah.
Even if you felt like kneeling for the flag, it made you jump for joy because those suckers are beautiful to look at for sure, man. That's for sure. So you heard it here first. Tommy goes down 32-20 to the usurper, whatever it's called. And you heard it here. So it's going to suck, man. But this will be the end. 20 years of Touchdown Tommy, the GOAT. And we'll go into another decade. And sadly, I don't think I'll ever watch any more football. It just is weird, doesn't it? As I get older, it just bores me. It's weird, man. I never thought I would not care. It's the weirdest thing. Even when the Pats and the Rams played the Super Bowl, I didn't even watch that much. It was weird. It's something.
I didn't really. This year for me was one I just didn't get to it. Didn't watch. I don't think I watched any game at all, period. Huh? And I was even joking with a friend of mine. He called me 2 days ago. And he's like, guess who's going to the Super Bowl? And I said, I'm guessing you. And he goes, yeah, it's me. I got tickets. And I was like, that's awesome, man. And I'm like, so what time is it tonight? Is it tonight or is it tomorrow or what? And he's like, Super Bowl Sunday, you idiot. He was so upset that I did not know. I was like, I'm messing with you. He's like, you know, if you didn't be so manly over at your house laying tile, I'd have questions about you, bud.
Hey, fuck, putting transmission in, laying tile. You'd be watching football like the real men.
He was so upset. Like you could hear
saying, "Guess who's going to the Super Bowl?" You're like, "I guess not that guy."
Yeah, I'm guessing you wouldn't call to tell me that I'm going to the Super Bowl, but you're going. Okay, great. Good time.
Right on, man. Good stuff, Dustin. I appreciate you being here, brother. I'm going to make it down there again at one point and see you again for sure because it's fun to get out of the house. It's fun that Florida is the freest of the states. Well, Georgia's pretty free too, but. One of these days we'll get back down there and visit with little Dustin. We'll get some more pizza from that place where you used to print the menus. Remember that? You showed me print the menus, man. That's I
do. I'll trade you. I'll say if you don't make it down here, let's do a one of the Thursday classes, the Wine and Wealth. We'll have you in there for customers, and let's do like a topic, something that you just you wouldn't do publicly or something. Let's have a cool topic there at some point, and I'll be ready when you are.
I mean, I go down there to do it, or do it from
you can do it from there, but like it'll be the private Thursday night class where we'll be in the speakeasy back there.
No, I'm game for that, man. Hello, Pablo. You want to say hi to Mr. Dustin? No? All right. I'm going to let him. He's going to go poopy. We'll see. Thanks, y'all, for being here. Appreciate it, Dustin. Thanks again. You're a good man.
Guys.
What they say. Thanks again, brother. We'll see you guys.
Adios. See ya.
Oh, good boy. You're a good boy. Yeah, give me a kiss. Gotta love the Pablo. Gotta love the Pablo. Yes, we do. Love the Pablo. Yes, we do. Love the Pablo. Yes, we do. Early in the morning. Love the Pablo. Yes, we do. Say hi, everybody. It's Pablo. It's Pablo. Yeah. All right. Thanks again for being here. Jazz Wealth is Dustin's channel. Subscribe and all that. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks again.